The Pelicans are streaking. 2 games on the trot. Big win against Portland. Another big win against Chicago. Boy, oh boy, we used to dream about days like this. So let's talk about it today on the 50th episode of Flock. Ready? So g'day everyone and welcome to Flock. I am your host, Lyle Swithenbank. This is of course a New Orleans Pelicans podcast. You can follow us on the socials at Lyle Swithenbank on Twitter and on TikTok and at Lyle Pels on Instagram. If you go and check us out over there, we do some fun stuff and, different stories and videos and clips and all that sort of stuff. We're doing all platforms. And gosh, if that's not a little plug before we launch into the 50th episode of Flock, I don't know what is, but boy, oh boy, thanks for coming along on the journey. It's been nice to be podcasting, pretty consistently now. Again, we hadn't done it for probably a year and a half, and now to really relaunch Flock and to get to episode 50 really feels like we're flying. Much like the Pelicans. So let's break down what happened. Why are we winning all of a sudden? Well, we remember the heartbreaking loss where Derek Queen had his triple-double against the Spurs. You lose by 2 points. It felt like the Pelicans just needed to know how to win. Enter Portland. NBA Cup's happening. They give you a couple of new opponents. The games are TBD. We got the draw of Portland and then Chicago as our NBA Cup replacement games. Of course, we didn't qualify for any of the semi-finals or grand final. So that meant we got another matchup with a Portland team that was missing Drew Holiday, still injured, and we are not really a true point guard at all. And that gave us an opportunity to come out and play how we wanted to play. An undermanned team, an opportunity to perhaps steal one. Of course, they're ahead of us in the standing, like everyone is. But really play the way we wanted to play. Jordan Poole returned in this one. We'd got her back, but he'd been ejected in that game before. He came back into this one and... he got ejected in this one in Portland. And it really was a tricky up and back game. No one was particularly starring, but we managed to put 143 points and win by 23 points, 143 to 120. And when you've got that, well, golly gosh, we were barely struggling. Well, we were struggling to score 100 points earlier on in the season. All of a sudden, you get a week break, thereabouts, while the NBA Cup's going on. We didn't have any games while they were trying to schedule things. And Borrego was able to get a couple of days in a row to really start working on that attention to detail, implementing his offense, focusing on defense, closing games. He'd talked about some trainings that were just defense, just specific end of game closing. And that is so important. You need to learn how to win. Of course, you can't recreate the end of game matchup, or a situation, the pressure, the weariness that you do in a game. That's just not 100% possible. But what you can do is say, this is what's happening. You've got 20 seconds left. You're up by this or you're down by that. What are we going to do? And let the players make their decisions. And if they don't do it right, you pull them up. Let's try it again. And I'm quite liking that. I'm liking Borrego's approach to this in that he is making the players talk. There was a training that they had before the Chicago game. And they talked about this. None of the coaches were allowed to talk. Only the players. Just the 5 that were on the court. Only they were allowed to talk. And that was to get them to communicate. Because you've got a team that is relying on the coaches to tell them what to do. Or 1 or 2 loud voices. No, everyone has to. And in a big gym like that, no one's talking. That's part of it. If you're in transition, who are you going to? Pick your matchup. If we're going to switch, if we're just going to go under or over the screen. Who's behind me? What are we running? All of that is communication. You need to have that, and you need to have that trust, that innate trust. If you know that someone is calling out, screen left, screen right, you know that this is coming. I can trust my teammate that if the guy gets past me, that I've got someone behind me. All of those things are super important and something that, albeit fundamental, that's where we're at. Where we're at. So in this game, the starters have stayed pretty much consistent. Trey, Sadiq, DQ, Herb, and Fears. And it really was a bit of an up and down game, arm wrestle, and then the Pelicans sort of put the foot down a little bit, locked that defense in, and we were flying from there. 24 points for Trey, 15 from Sadiq with a full line, 8 and 5. DQ 17, 5, 7 assists, 2 steals. You know, he's throwing lobs from the logo. We saw those highlights over the weekend. They were exceptional. Jeremiah Fears 19, 7 and 4, and 4 points and 5 rebounds for Herb in just 14 minutes, who got himself thrown out because the umpires were particularly bad. It was both ways, like everyone was hacking each other, but the problem was then they started calling some things and not the rest. So I don't really know what they were on with that, but who knows? Who knows what they were trying to do? Jordan Poole, in his return, 25 minutes, he had to come off the bench, 22 points. He had 1 rebound, 3 assists, a steal and a block, 8 of 19, 3 of 11 from 3. Wasn't his best shooting night, but his gravity was important. His ability to attack the paint and also make those sort of leaning threes and even just regular threes, the threat of his ability to shoot pulls defenders away and opens up the lanes for everyone else. You're getting these drives from Jeremiah, from Queen. You know, Trey Murphy was able to attack. Bay was the same. Even opening up for Poole himself because they had to close out on him. All of a sudden, I've blown by you and I've got a layup. Bryce McGowan's, again, fantastic. He had 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists and 2 steals. Eve, 5 and 8. Jose had 4, 5, and 9 assists in this one. A game where I thought we only had 8 turnovers. The whole game. Portland managed to get themselves 15. And so when you're getting yourself only 8 turnovers, you are putting yourself in a position to win the game of basketball. Your possessions are being taken care of. Yeah, you're going to have a couple of turnovers. It's inevitable you're going to turn it over. If you keep it under 10, you are going to be in every single game. Particularly when you're turning other teams over like you are. For them, you know, Shaden Sharp was their best with 21 points. He basically carried them throughout the game. Grant had 16, Kamara 15. Not a huge impact from anyone. Sissoko, come off the bench, had 20 points. He was very good. And he was going to be role player of the week that comes and beats up on the Pelicans. But thankfully, as you keep getting players back, we had, how many is that? 6 players in double digits. And, 3 over 20 with Fears on 19, Queen on 17, and Bay on 15. You know, that's a great contribution across the board for that game. And what it was like a pressure release valve. You pull that lever, the gas comes out, or the steam, and you win a game. The monkey gets off your back. No, we can win this. We can play the way we want to play. If we stick to the game plan, we play how we want to, we move the ball. You know, we had a heap of assists in this game once again. In fact, we had the total assists, 36 assists. 36 assists to 8 turnovers. What are you going to do? Like, that's fantastic. You know, you make 58 shots and 36 of them are assisted. That's good ball movement. That, to me, is learning on the fly, continuing to evolve, trusting the system, trusting each other. 25 to 17 fast break points. We had 17 fast break points, 19 offensive rebounds. Points off turnovers, you get 16 off their 15. All of those things are important. And that's when you got beaten at the free throw line by 5 attempts. You win by 23. Really impressive. And one thing I will call out in this one, and we'll get to the next game because I know we probably don't need to stick on Portland for that long because it was a couple of days ago now, was that Trey Murphy started to take the lead role. We've been calling for it. You know, Zion was out. He made a miraculous return, which we'll talk about shortly. What we saw from Trey Murphy is him playing with decisiveness. And when you've got players that are going to put him in a position to be successful, dunking the ball, they were saying that last year Trey had about 37 dunks for the whole season. This year he's already had 45. That was going into the Chicago game. You're allowing him, and that comes with strength and experience, but it's also putting him in a position where he doesn't have to think. If you've got people that can create for him, he then doesn't have to dribble the air out the ball trying to create isolation looks. Instead, he's getting easy layups. He's playing with force. He's playing with intention. And that's what we want from your best player. Use the skills that you've been given. You can dunk the living daylights out the ball. You can attack the paint. You can shoot the ball. You've got a good midi. Trey Murphy taking that next step continues to make us better. And it's by being surrounded by guys like Derek Queen and Jeremiah. Jose with 9 assists. If other guys are going to put you in that position, finish the shot. And Trey's getting craftier. So I was really impressed with what I've seen from Trey Murphy, and he'll continue to grow, which was all we can ask for as he steps into that lead role. So, fast forward, we get a couple of days off. I don't know what the hand signal was there for those that are watching. We go to Chicago. Get another day. We got a day off, they were saying, and then they had a training, and then they went to Chicago to go and take on the Bulls. Now, usually we would only play them twice. We got an extra go because of the NBA Cup. This was Jeremiah Fear's first game in Chicago in the NBA, which is a homecoming for him. So he had a whole heap of family in the crowd. We heard all about him, and he looked like a man on the mission. He looked like he wanted to win this one. And boy, oh boy, what did we do? We won again. And it's easy, to get caught up in it all. We're 5-22. It's been the season from hell. We got no draft pick. It's all been discussed. But if you aren't picking bits of optimism out of this and showing that there's a stark improvement from this team versus the team that, Willie Green had, well, you're going mad. Yeah, we're still bad. But at least we're fun. Now, we won 114 to 104. Another 10-point victory. They scored a little bit at the end to sort of make it look a little bit closer than it was. But winning on the road is hard. Winning in Chicago when you can't even drink a bottle. I saw someone open a bottle of Sprite at the NFL game there. And it froze immediately. Like, this is cold. You're on Eastern time as well. So what happened on this one? Well, we got the miraculous news that Zion, who was meant to be out for forever, was ready to go. Upgraded to questionable. And then he played. And for the first time in his career, he came off the bench. And what I liked about this was that he didn't upset a starting lineup that had been doing very well. And also, we knew he was on a minute restriction. So, the staff made the decision that what they were going to do is make him come off the bench and then he could play a bit more consistently. JB talked about it after the game. The decision was made that he would come off the bench so that when he could close for the whole 6-7 minutes, right? Instead of having to come on and then he goes off and then you're upsetting the rhythm of the team. If he starts, well, he's then got to come out at the 5, 6, 7 minute mark, maybe even earlier because he's just getting warmed up. And all of a sudden, you're then not getting the best out of your starters. It also allows guys like Trey Murphy, Fears, Queen, the other guys to start getting going without having to rely on going to Zion and, get out the way because Zion's getting it. He got to come on and start bullying the second unit, get himself right, and become that focal point with Jordan Poole, with Jose, Bryce McGowan. These guys came off the bench, Eve Meesey, and you started staggering the minutes. And I'll tell you what, it worked. First quarter, 21 to 26, back and forth. They were very good at finishing quarters, but the starters were quite good. It was a choppy start, a lot of fouls, a lot of carry on. But again, everyone except DeJounte Murray available. How often can we say that we only had one person on the injury? Not very often. Second quarter, we put the foot down. 31-21. Started turning them over. Started moving the ball. Started doing what we wanted. You had the disruption of guys like Herb. Bryce McGowan's came in. Everyone was playing hard. We were flying around. That's how Corey Brewer had described it in the three-quarter time interview before they start the second half, is that they were flying around, causing havoc, and making guys second-guess themselves. Kevin Herter for them was like their star. He kept the minute. Josh Giddey, as always, gives us a little bit of trouble. But it was a good win. Second half, 24-28. Like I said, they come out in that second quarter and started playing how they wanted it. And then we put the foot down to close the game. 38-29. And the masterstroke, 0 minutes for 3 quarters of Carlo. 12 minutes straight for Carlo Matkovic in the last quarter. The man came in, played with pace, played with hustle, gave us the shot in the arm that we needed. He was excellent. And to have that ability to come on and stay ready and then contribute at such a high level when he did come on, just with a high motor, just with crashing the boards, just with rebounding, making them accountable. His stat sheet's probably not going to show it. We're going to get to it, but his box score, let's have a look. In 12 minutes, 4 points and 4 rebounds. And a massive block, 2 of 5. He's a +9 on the night, one of the top-ranked players in the plus-minus. That, to me, is saying, hang on, you've done your job, and that's all we can ask. Staying ready and contributing. And, he's probably going to have to get more minutes because of the way that he's played. So, in this one, let's just have a look at turnovers because we got the page up. We had 14 turnovers in this one to their 13. So, yeah, another one where low turnovers, reasonably. 14's pretty good. But also it's taking care of the basketball. It's making sure that when you are turning the ball over, you're not giving away easy looks. You're getting back in defense. And you're trying not to turn it over live, which I thought we were pretty good at in this one. Now, it was not a pretty game from 3 once again. We're making up for it in the paint, thankfully. But there are going to be teams that just murder us from 3, and you're going to have no chance. So, 26 assists to them to 21. Less again than perhaps we'd had previously. But it was another choppy up and down game. There was a bit more isolation, bit more probably lucky shots that went in. Points off turnovers, we got 18, they had 17, which is very good for us. Fast break points, 17 apiece. There wasn't that big of a difference. It was just who could convert down the line and making them adjust. We made them play how we wanted to. Getting good looks. And there was, to be fair, we hit 8 threes of 33 to their 13 of 49. So, they shot 26%, we shot 24%. Bad all round. But what we did do was generate good looks. And that to me is, okay, we can continue to repeat this, but if you keep putting people in those positions, eventually the law of averages, perhaps this is an average, I don't know, will start to even out and you will get guys more comfortable at taking those shots and making them. So continue to do that. 46% from the field to their 41. We were attacking the paint. We were getting in there. We were fouling them. 25 free throws, made 20 of them to 15 of 17. Rebounds smashed them 53-43. Offensive rebounds 14-13. So you're getting those second chance possessions. You're attacking the paint. You're securing the rebound. And that's something I really liked as well, is that the guys have a real emphasis on finishing the defensive possession. Yeah, of course, there's going to be offensive ones now, and then the ball's going to shoot a free. You're going to get some average ones. But Trey Murphy, 10 rebounds. Queen, 8 rebounds. 6 from Bay. 2 from Herb. 2 from Fears. Everyone that played had multiple rebounds. I love to see that. 6 from Zion, 2 from Poole, 2 from Alvarado, 3 from McGowan's, 8 from Messi in 11 minutes, and 4 from Carlo. That is stuff that we just were not doing. And by staying ready and by continuing to grow and focusing on ending possessions with that defensive rebound, securing it, all of a sudden, you're getting one and done and you're getting into your own sets quicker. We also have a tendency to advance the ball, which I'm really loving. Getting the ball up. There was a play that Jeremiah Fears did. It was after a made basket. He got the ball, laid it up with 19 seconds on the shot clock. He just went. He is so fast. 20 points for that man in this game. Very, very impressive. So let's just have a deeper look at the box score on this one. 20 and 10 for Trey with 2 assists, 8 of 14 shooting. Again, deliberate, intentional, attack in the paint, only 1 turnover, leading by example. And that's what I want to see from Trey, continuing to attack. 33 minutes for the man, most on the field. 24 minutes for Saddiq Bey. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 4 of 12. Not his best shooting night, but again, the ability to create out of the post, whether he's attacking, whether he is, just becoming that pass out, drawing a second defender. Saddiq Bey is a great fit for this team, and I'm really enjoying what he's doing. I'm glad that they left the starting lineup alone, because if you're winning, you shouldn't lose minutes just because someone's returned, despite the fact that, of course, you have to have that buy-in from the star player. And it looks like Zion was, we'll do that. I'll do whatever we need to do to win. And that's all we can ask. Earn your spot. That's not to say it won't change next game, but good idea while he's working his way back. Queen, 4 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists on this one, 2 of 4. An up and down game. A difficult one for him to score. It's not that he even took that many shots, 2 of 4. It just was a running game. It was probably more likely that we could play small or run an Eve or Carlo that probably suited this a little bit better than him. That's not to say he didn't get rebounds, he didn't create. It was just not a big scoring night for him. 10 points for Herb with 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 of 8 shooting, 2 of 7. And they have told Herb to shoot the ball, it appears. I would like him probably more so to focus on those corner threes rather than coming off screens and transition threes and things like that, despite hitting one of them. Jeremiah Fears, 28 minutes. He had 20 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 7 of 13, 5 of 6 free throws. He had 3 turnovers, but he was handling the ball flat out. Plus 12, second best on the night behind Saddiq Bey per the plus minus. Fears was great. He played like he was at home, which he was. And when you've got that, and you've got the people coming to cheer you on, you get that extra boost, right? And we've seen that before with other players. He looked great. And what we're seeing in front of our eyes is a guy that is becoming cleverer and cleverer at this game. He's working out NBA defenses. And he's realizing he's as fast as anyone as he was at college. The improvement as well has become that 3. The confidence to take the 3. Look a guy in the eye, bang, I'll hit a 3 on you because you left me open. I love that. He is just scratching the surface, that young man, and I'm very, very excited. Zion in 26 minutes, he had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 of 14. He looks to be in really good shape. He looks like he's taken care of himself in his injury. He's come back quickly. He commented at the end of the game. They interviewed him. He said, being able to take care of my body and have myself in this shape has meant that I can return from injuries that perhaps traditionally would have kept him out longer. And that, to me, is a momentum shift. He said, injuries suck. I don't want to be injured. I want to play. I truly believe that. Why would you want to be injured when you get to play basketball for a living? That'd suck. You get to get around, but you want to play. That's what you're there for. So I don't buy into this, Zion doesn't want to play. He does. He just gets hurt. So hopefully this is a bit of a turning page. I'll probably jinx it now. It's a bit of a turning point for him where he can stay healthy. But we don't know. They just got to continue to, maintain him and hopefully he continues to stay on the court. Jordan Poole, 27 minutes. He had 16 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 6 of 15. Again, an inefficient night. 2 from 9 from 3. But coming off the bench, you're going to get those shots. And it's the fear of him making them. They know that if he gets hot, he'll win the game himself. So they have to close out on him. They know that he can shoot the three. They know that he's crafty. They know he can create for others. And it gives you an added punch. I mean, imagine you're a bench player and you're coming on and you've got to face Zion and Jordan Poole and you're sitting there going, oh, hang on, like, where's the bench guys? Well, sorry, you've got a former All-Star and a Sixth Man of the Year type player, NBA champion coming off the bench. So good luck. Jose, 17 minutes, 3, 2, and 2, a steal and a block. He was fine. He didn't, -6 they've given him. Jose is a difficult one, right? Because he plays with such energy, but he is a lot. I mean, he's a bench backup point guard, right? So his stats when you're playing alongside Poole and Zion are probably going to be worse because you're not getting the ball quite as much. I think you've got Bryce McGowan's hot on his tail, though, for some minutes. Because Bryce, 5-3, 1 of 2, didn't really get the opportunities in this one. But he plays the right way. He gets downhill. He attacks the paint. In this game, he had 3 free throw attempts. Because he drives into the paint. He plays how they want to play. Pushes the pace. That's what we've got to do. So, it wouldn't surprise me if Bryce McGowan's, I don't know who you get rid of to allow Bryce McGowan's to get a proper contract, but it wouldn't surprise me if they convert that two-way to a full-time deal. Najee Marshall-esque. So, we'll see. Eve Messi, 11 minutes, 4 and 8. He was very good in the second quarter, but then in the third quarter, he looked a bit lost. There was some weird situations that he was in. He needs to get stronger. That's the reality is they are swiping through him at every time. Playing with decision, intention, again, like we talked about Trey earlier, is something he's going to have to continue to work on. As he gets stronger and bigger and continues to grow in the game, of course he's still new to it, he has to get stronger at finishing and holding onto the ball because there's times where you put it down, well, everyone's going to grab it. Or if you look out and they know you're not going to go back up, well, no one's going to guard you then. They're just going to be looking for you to throw it and turn it over. So, more development points for Eve. And Carlo, we talked about him. He was great, 4 and 4. Played that whole last quarter and was probably the turning point in the game. Went on a 30-12 run and closed the game off. Like I said, we used to dream of days like this. We didn't have many games like that at all. So, yeah, good win. And nice to be able to watch the team start to really gel and get healthy and show the weapons that we've got in a system that actually is built for that team. This is a team that doesn't give up. This is a team that wants to have a crack. This is a team that wants to run. And boy, oh boy, do we run. And when we do, we scare a few teams. And I think there's opportunity for us to continue to win. Of course, we're not going to win every game. Of course not. But could we steal a couple coming up? Absolutely we could. You continue to play like this. We're the second highest points per game in the league after Miami in the last 5 games. Playing with pace. Yes, we've got to work on the defense. But at least we're scoring points. Gosh, there were some tough days where we weren't even able to crack 100. That's embarrassing in 48 minutes with the pace that this NBA dictates. So it's easy to feel optimistic at the moment, despite everything else that's going on. So, all in all, good win by the Pelicans, 2 in a row. We're really happy with that. Next game is the Rockets on Thursday night, so we look forward to watching that one. This is going to be a tricky game, of course. Kevin Durant around, Sengun, but I think we match up quite well, and if we're healthy, well, we could go at them. It's going to be hard, but I think we could be competitive. And that's all we need to do. That's where we start, is being competitive, and we go from there. So I look forward to watching that. So, all in all, Pelicans are streaking. Zion returns. Poole's returned. It's Flock number 50, and I think we'll leave it at that. So, this has been Flock, the the 50th episode, a New Orleans Pelicans podcast. I'm your host, Lyle Swithenbank, at Lyle Swithenbank on Twitter and on TikTok, at Lyle Pels on Instagram. If you like what you saw, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, leave a comment, tell us where you're watching from, and of course, stay safe, and bye for now.